Dearest Podcast with dynamic mother-daughter duo Simone and Olivia Knego, where they discuss the secrets of transformation and how to build bold confidence and unwavering resilience. From intimate conversations with inspiring guests to sharing their personal journeys of triumph and challenge, Simone and Olivia create a supportive space where every woman is encouraged to rise above her fears and love the woman in the mirror. Tune into the Daughter Dearest Podcast and join this special journey of connection and growth.
Hey everyone, welcome to this week's episode of the Daughter Dearest Podcast. I'm Simone Knego.
And I'm Olivia Knego.
And yay, as you can see, we are reunited. So she is...
I feel like we say this every 2 weeks.
I know, you come home a lot.
I come home a lot. Like a lot more than the average college student that lives in a completely different state.
Yeah, you do.
I have attachment issues.
And
I like my parents. I
think that's really a plus.
Yeah. It's fun to come home. It's not a chore for me to come home.
Yeah. So today we are going to talk about everyday annoyances. You know, we all have them. You know, you have them. And we're just going to kind of hash it out and talk about the things that really drive us crazy.
And I feel like last week, both of us dealt with just things that were annoying. And this is how that topic that came around. And we get it. Like everyone can have annoying moments, but just some things for me, they just ruin my whole day.
Yeah, I mean, some things ruin my day too. I want to say most of these things are just like the little things that are just like,
Maybe I let the little things get to me too much, but sometimes it just builds up and that the little thing going wrong, it's the last thing you need.
Okay, so what is your number one pet peeve?
Well, okay, mine is like, people are going to be like, you're crazy.
Okay, but
my number one pet peeve is when people order the same thing at me as a restaurant. When you're sitting at the table with someone and you order an entree and they order the same thing, and it's not a valid pet peeve. I recognize that one is like pretty extreme. People will be like, what is wrong with you? I guess at heart, I just am a foodie and I want to try everything.
But are the people going to share their food with you anyways?
No. I don't know where this thought comes from. And oftentimes it actually affects me because I'll order last and I'll have a couple of menu items. I'm like, okay, well, if this one gets chosen, I can do this one. And a lot of times I just end up ordering something I don't really want.
Have you worked on this in therapy?
No, I feel like there are bigger issues to accomplish in therapy than this one. I have worked on it in life though. I've gotten a lot better. My friends have said that, that I've made progress in it. I don't know why, it was a big issue in high school for me. I remember we went out to one dinner at the end of the year and I was like, I cannot believe everyone just ordered everything on the menu that I wanted. And now I just had to order something random I don't want.
But you still ate.
Yeah.
And you survived.
Wait, first of all, I'm not a picky eater at all. The only thing I absolutely will not eat is carrots. So for me, it's just really about okay, well, this isn't what I wanted, but I'll still eat it.
And carrots is such a funny thing.
Says you, Miss Celery. Don't even. Don't even.
Okay, yeah, I don't like celery.
It's good though. We're good for finishing wing baskets.
Yeah, it's true. I eat the carrot sheets, celery.
Yeah. I mean, but you're really eating it for the blue cheese. Let's be real.
You're right. You're right. Yeah, I mean,
no one's just eating. Oh, maybe you are. Maybe you really like carrots.
People that really like carrots out there,
and I'm just not one of them.
Your dad likes them a lot.
Does he?
Yeah. He would get bags and bags.
This is I guess carrots are kind of an annoyance for me because I honestly, yeah, they are because when they get them really shaved in salads and you can't even pick them out. But for me, it's a texture thing. It's too hard. And I think it's because I don't have to be I grew up around horses, but you rode all the time. And instead of daycare, I would just go with you. And it just reminds me of a horse.
Carrots, carrots, a horse.
And I feel like carrots are made for horse teeth and not for human teeth.
Well, I don't know about that. I mean, I think people really do like carrots. I like carrots. I don't like them just plain. I mean, that's the problem. Maybe I don't really like a carrot. Maybe I just like the dip. I don't really know.
See, okay, that's just an argument in itself. Now, what's your number one annoyance or number one pet peeve?
I feel my number one pet peeve, which I guess this is similar to an annoyance, and it's something that I don't understand. I don't understand how someone can go into the bathroom, especially women, go into the bathroom, pee on the seat and leave it there for someone else. Come on, ladies, clean up after yourself. It grows.
Yeah. So many things there, because then it's also like, why are you afraid to touch your pee? Your pee, first of all, you're in a sterile. It's also yours.
Well, exactly. It's yours. And so even I was just at a meeting last week, and the only people going into the bathroom were the people at our meeting. And I walked into one of the stalls and there was pee all over the seat. And I was thinking, okay, which one of you people in this small meeting peed all over the seat and left it?
See, it doesn't bother me that much.
You clean it up? What do you do?
I do. I'm sorry, I do. And I know it's like a gross thing to do, but like when you gotta go, you gotta go.
Yeah. I don't know. It just really, that is my number one.
Yeah. I think it's definitely one of those things that's like, you're already wiping. Like your hand is already near the pee. Just, take a little bit of cloth and wipe it around the seat.
Yeah.
It's pretty easy to accomplish, like pretty easy to clean up.
I will never understand that.
No.
So that is like my top. And I think especially as I get older, I'm sure I was guilty of it when I was younger, college party, whatever. But now I'm like so particular about it.
I don't think I've ever peed on a seat, actually.
Well, I don't remember if I did it.
Well, okay. If I've peed on a seat, I've cleaned it up for sure.
Yeah.
Because of you.
Yeah.
Because of you.
Because I talk about it all the time.
There's this one story of this, and no name, I don't even know her name, but this one story that she always brings up, and she will always remember this lady as the lady that peed on the seat in Target.
She is somebody super fancy. Like, she dresses up for everything. I'll just stop there. She's super fancy.
She's
and
super
I was
fancy.
so I was waiting in the Target bathroom. All the stalls were full. And you know how, like, when a door opens, you commit, right? And you walk forward.
Yeah.
And I committed. And as soon as I saw her face, she was like, oh, hi. Like, she knew what she did. And I had committed. So I like walked in there, and it wasn't like a drop. It was like a funnel. Like, it just, I'm not even sure what happened. And then I was like, what do I do? So I literally waited in the stall because I was not going to clean that up. I just wasn't.
No,
I don't have gloves. I'm not doing it. And so I waited for her to wash her hands and leave. And then I went back out and waited for the next stall to open up, which...
You weren't petty and just walk out. See, that's like you and I are the same, because I know some people that would just walk out and be like, maybe not even say anything, but just like walk out of the stall and you waited. I would have done the same thing. Maybe, if it was as much as you're describing, I would have been like, fuck no.
Well, I don't know. Like
it's also disrespectful to, like, someone is cleaning that bathroom.
Right.
Someone is cleaning that bathroom, and their job isn't to clean up your pee. Their job is to sanitize everything, and you are making it their job to clean up your pee.
Yeah.
It's disrespectful.
I agree. But that's my number one. Okay, what are other things that bother you? Like every day.
I know we made a list, but on the topic of this, I think it's an everyday annoyance. It's like bad house guests.
That's huge.
Yeah. Because then I was thinking, like, with the pee situation on the seat, like leave somewhere, like, as you, whatever. I don't know the saying that I'm even going for. I think I'm combining two in one.
Leave a place better than when you found it.
Yeah. And I feel like I'm a messy person inherently, but I do try my best, especially when I'm leaving someone's house. So, like, clean up or like, just be a good house guest, like pick up after myself, et cetera, et cetera. Some people just don't get that.
Yeah. It's a very weird thing I know every time I've stayed at someone's house, and again, I'm older, but I'm very particular in keeping my stuff really organized and in one spot. And we've had house guests that their crap is everywhere. And I'm like, do you live like this at home?
Yeah.
Like, I
will say I live like that at home, but when I'm in someone else's space, I am so like acutely aware of what I am taking up and where my stuff is going, because it's not my space and it's disrespectful. And I would not want someone to come into my place and do the same thing.
Yeah, I mean, again, you have such a tiny space that you can't, I mean, you make a little bit of a mess in there and you can't find anything.
Well, I think that's definitely helped me become more cleanly, though, being like, you leave one shirt on the floor and your room's a mess.
Yeah, true. But it's funny, when she comes home, she has no problem leaving her.
I actually made my bed and picked up my floor this morning.
That's actually, you challenged yourself it's a couple of months ago to make your bed every day, and you've been doing it.
Yeah, I do.
I have not.
I make my bed at school. I don't know. I think at school in particular, my room is my everything. I hang out. I spend probably 8-9 hours a day there.
Yeah.
Because it's where my desk is. Like, so I do all my work in there. Like, I sleep in there. I hang out with my friends in my room. So without keeping it clean, you literally feel like you're living in a pigsty. And I'm not the kind of person that like, I can wear sweatpants all day, but if I want to feel productive, I have to change out of my clothes from the night before. So it's like the same mentality.
Well, I think there's actually a science to it. And so that's why I don't make my bed every day, but I do try to fulfill the commitments that I've made to myself. I don't know why making my bed like matters or doesn't, but I guess for a lot of people, it symbolizes that, okay, the first thing you do in the morning, that you've started a day with keeping a promise to yourself.
That 100%. And also for me, it's kind of a way of making sure you can't get back in bed because your bed's made. Sleep time is over. It's time for the day. It's like very symbolism like that. Yeah.
I mean, I never get back in my bed during the day, but I don't really think about.
Oh, if my bed's not made, because like my friends will come into my room and they'll get in my bed and be like, if it's made, you're not allowed to do that. Like, it's so annoying to me.
I think it's valid.
But when it's unmade, just like, I'll just go in and lay around all day.
So she talks about her carrots. I have a celery problem. I don't know why. I mean, most people will say to me, celery doesn't taste like anything.
Well, first of all, it tastes like something. It tastes like celery. It's very...
It tastes like celery. I don't
know. No, but it's more, I don't even know. It's like flavored water, kind of. I kind of understand it, though. Like, celery is not my go-to. I mean, it's stringy. It's not like that nutritious. Isn't that the thing? If you eat celery, you're actually burning more calories than you're gaining because it's like so fibrous and it has no. Yeah, I feel like that's just one of like those 90s almond mom diet tips. But
I just have never liked it. And for a long time, I couldn't eat it at all. Obviously, I'm trying to be a little bit more mature, but like if I would order tuna salad and there'd be big chunks of it in there, I would literally have to.
Yeah, I remember
all the chunks. I just can't stand it.
Yeah.
Celery salt, forget it.
That's what I was going to say, like, the celery seed, like, in that kind of...
all of it.
You don't...
It's such a strong smell and taste to me. I can't tell you.
Where's that come from?
I have no idea.
You've always been like that? Because I've always been like that with carrots. I remember she would pack carrots in my lunchbox, and I would dip them in the ranch and lick the ranch off and put the carrots back in. So...
sounds about right.
Yeah. I've always known.
Yeah.
What I've disliked. I mean, for a while, I was very anti-shrimp, but then I realized that I had to get over that one. Like, shrimp's actually good.
Shrimp is really good. But it's funny that you got over that one, but not carrots. I guess, like,
Shrimp was, I was fine with shrimp for years, and then I think I just, like, for a while when we did the peel and eat shrimp at home, I would have to clean the poop trails out, and I think that was just like, I don't like that anymore.
I have a hard time with, and that's why I don't cook fish at home that I don't like. Like, I have no problem with, like, shellfish, but, like, fish.
She hates bones.
Yeah, that's a huge thing.
That's a pretty everyday annoyance for you.
I can't. And we were in Nashville last weekend, and we ordered some fish dip, which normally I like fish dip. The first bite I took had a big old bone.
Yeah.
And that was the end of it for me.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's, like, kind of getting, like, an egg in your egg salad, or eggshell in your egg salad.
Oh, a bone is worse to me.
Okay.
A fish bone. Chicken bones, whatever, you figure it out, but
because they're big. I'm not the biggest. I mean, like, I don't know. I don't eat tons of fish to begin with.
Yeah.
So,
well, that's a problem for me too. So those are like food wise. Those are the two things that really bother me.
Well, for eating, I think one of the things we were talking about before the show was my biggest one is like you buy a thing of raspberries or blackberries, and the next day they're molded. Like, how is that possible? It is so annoying to me. I've stopped buying berries.
I watched some video on Instagram on how to keep them fresh in the fridge. There's like all these hacks now of how you take them out of the package and you put paper towels underneath and then they'll last a lot longer.
How much money do you think you've lost on raspberries? Probably over $1,000.
Oh my gosh, a lot. Because you're right. Like, and you can't always see too. So when you buy them at the store and like the top looks good.
And then you check at the bottom, but there's a whole middle layer that you don't see.
Right. And then you get home and then you go to take them out and they're like moldy in between.
Yeah. There's like one bad, and it's like the one, one bad apple. That's how it works. Mold is on one thing and that spreads to everything. So no, it's a bad one. Oh, like.
Because raspberries are so delicious.
They are.
But yeah, they mold so fast.
It's ridiculous. It's not worth buying.
So one of the problems we have in Sarasota has become our traffic.
Yeah.
And There are, I don't know, I would like to say that they're just some really bad drivers here. But again, I think that look at the population, the age.
Okay, yeah.
There's a lot, you see a lot of 90-year-olds driving.
Yeah, that's a funny story, actually. Do you remember when we went to the DMV for my learner's permit and you said something like about how easy it was to like get your license renewed as an old person, and she just gave you this like nasty look?
They don't have to do anything.
There's nothing.
They do like a vision test and that's it. They don't have to. I kind of feel like when you get to a certain age, you should, just like when you first get your license, you should
have to take a test, but
make sure that you're still safe on the road. I mean, you hear horrible stories. So
yeah, I completely agree with that. I think that everywhere has bad drivers. I think something about getting into a car and getting on your road, I like everyone's like sense of respect for anyone else is out the window.
Yeah, it's weird.
Yeah.
You're right.
Like, you know, and I say I fall for it too. Like in person, I'm going to hold the door open for somebody else if they're coming. But in traffic, I'm not going to let that person in. Hell no.
I really have learned to really let people.
I do, because you never know when you're going to need to let in. Right. And it does come out, I will say.
Yeah,
it comes back around.
Yeah. And we have a lot of construction where we live. Mm-hmm. So everything is so backed up. And so really you have to do let one person in. You go, and another person lets the person in, and then
and I think that's one of the things here. I think so I was in New Jersey 2 weekends ago, and they're horrible drivers there, and just in completely different ways. Like they're all so aggressive, and they don't really look before they turn. They kind of just assume that they can change lanes, or they don't plan on it. So like, oh, here's my exit. Let me get across 3 lanes of traffic. Plan. I'm so nervous. Like, I'm so nervous when I'm on any driving situation, like of being an asshole or just like missing my exit, that I like move over to my lane early. And that's how it should be.
We also have a problem here that the city has invested in roundabouts.
Which is great. I love the idea of roundabouts.
In theory, they're great, but
not when your population is like old as hell and doesn't even know what a roundabout is.
We've seen people literally drive through the middle of it, go airborne, and like had no idea that you're actually supposed to go around in a circle. And then when it's dark, like it makes it worse.
Yeah.
But even this weekend in Nashville, it was funny. We were in an Uber and there was a girl waiting to figure out how to do the roundabout. So she kind of went like halfway. And then she didn't know what to do. So she was just blocking the traffic.
Yeah.
And she was young. She looked probably in her 20s.
Well, you know what? Not to call out my younger sister, but I was like, Millie, you can't just change lanes when you're in the middle of a roundabout. What do you mean? I was like, you can't. That's not. No, stop.
Stick to your lane and around.
Yeah. Like, driving, I just think is one of those things that once you take your test, you are like, okay, well, I have my license. All I need to know how to do is press the brake and press the gas and not any of the other rules of the road.
It's the paying attention to everyone else that's the most important.
Yeah.
I mean, like understanding that the people around you might not be paying attention. So you have to be paying attention.
Like, I don't know. Maybe like, I guess I was just taught to be a defensive driver. And I know like the big thing in like the northern states is that they're all like, offensive drivers and they're very aggressive, but it's just you never know when someone's not paying attention.
Yeah, no, I think you really have to be a strong defensive driver here.
Also, you know, I think in Florida you finally can't text and drive anymore, right?
Yeah, no, you can't text
and
drive.
But with those CarPlay things now, that's texting and drive. That is literally being on a tablet in a car, because I can just be like, I don't like it's you press all these apps.
Yeah.
I don't think that's safe for driving either.
It's hard because a lot of people do work from their car, right? So they're doing all their phone calls as they drive, and it's hard to put everything down the whole time. I don't think you should text and drive.
No.
You know, you should not be searching the internet as you drive.
No. I don't know. For me, driving's always been that like however long decompress between one place to another. It's like a place where I don't really listen to a ton of music when I'm not driving, honestly. Like, I feel like the last 4 years of being in New York, I've seen like the lowest amount of music that I've listened to, because I feel like I only really listen to it when I'm driving. It's just like a good reset time.
Which makes sense.
Yeah.
I'm just curious because you haven't really driven that much in the last 4 years because of where you lived. what it's going to be like now moving to a city where you're going to be driving constantly?
I'm excited, but I think I'm excited because I haven't done it in a while. I'm so nervous though. Like, I'm not the best driver. Okay. I think I'm not horrible, but
you're a good driver.
Oh, thank you. No one else would describe me as a good driver. That was really nice of you.
Although you still have to do this. You still got to put your hands.
Okay, I don't take them off the wheel anymore. I've learned how to do it.
She holds them up and so that she can see the L in the left hand. So if someone says to her, you're turning left.
I don't know what won't click in my brain about my lefts and my rights. I have a literal birthmark on my left hand. And to look, did you see? To make sure that this one was the left one. That could very actively be like, okay, birthmark on your left hand. That's your left. And I still can't. It does not click. I don't know. I really don't know.
Well, in terms of driving, yeah, I mean, it's going to be a lot different when you're there and obviously getting used to a new place and really figuring out the grid of the city. I don't know if there's so much of a grid there, but
yeah.
You know what? Another thing related to driving that drives me crazy?
What?
When people park in 2 parking spots. I don't understand.
Yeah, because you would be annoyed if someone else did that to you. So why are you doing it?
Every car can fit into one spot. I mean, it doesn't matter how big it is. I mean, maybe if you're driving like a mobile home, I mean, whatever.
Okay, yeah, that's completely that off the table. A 4-wheel vehicle, even some of those 6 wheels, you know, when the big trucks that have the extra wheel, those can still fit in a normal parking space.
But people make the choice not to. And usually when they do that, it's in a place where there's very few parking spaces to begin with. So you can't find a place to park.
Yeah. No, speaking of everyday annoyances with that, this is like not on anybody, but the worst thing is when you're in a crowded parking lot and you finally think you see a spot, but it's one of those mini cars in there, so you don't see it, or it's like a motorcycle, and you're like, oh my God.
Yeah, driving is tricky. Today was an anniversary for you.
Oh my God, yeah. It was, God, how many years? 6 years, I think.
Since?
What was it? Since I was in a pretty bad car accident, but I wasn't driving, so.
Yeah, her sister was driving, and it was a bad accident. They both spent time in the hospital, and she had a concussion, bleeding in her belly. That was a bad one.
Yeah, it was a bad one.
And I was in Morocco. I wasn't even in
Yeah, you weren't even in the States.
Good thing your dad was here.
I was on the way to prom. I feel like that's noted.
Oh, yeah.
It was okay. It was like also prom, which in my community or like my high school, they did a prom for all of the LGBTQ plus teens in honestly the greater Sarasota area. I think Tampa was included in it as well. And
anybody can go.
Obviously anybody could go. And that was the whole thing about it. It was just like an inclusive space. Like one year they had a drag queen there. So it was honestly like more fun than regular proms. I was on my way in my pretty dress, had my makeup all done, and then boom.
Boom.
But I got to keep the dress.
Yeah. That was a bad one.
Yeah, but I think
so you gotta always be paying attention.
That's another thing. I think that's made me so much more cautious. Like, I don't know. Driving is just such a weird thing. I think that I saw something that we should switch the driving and the drinking age. And I don't know if I would be okay with 16-year-olds drinking, but I do think that you should probably learn how to drink before you learn how to drive.
That's an interesting way of saying it. If someone's only listening to this part, they're going to say that she's encouraging drinking and driving.
Okay, no. I'm saying that you should learn how to drink before you learn how to drive so you don't drink and drive.
Right.
Because I feel like, I mean, maybe I'm wrong. I haven't actually looked on the statistics of DUIs, but I would say it's probably a lot of young people trying to do stupid shit and get away with it.
I don't know. I have no idea on the statistics of those. I would say the ones that you see in the paper are always
celebrities.
Yeah.
The big joke in our friend group right now is Aaron Judge's, who's a baseball player in the Yankees. I don't know if you know who he is.
I know.
Okay. Just making sure.
Thank you for the update.
Well, yeah, I mean, I don't know who. He's like the best player. One of the best players in the MLB right now. A couple of years ago, his then girlfriend, now wife at the time, got pulled over for a DUI. And, she's screaming, do you know who my boyfriend is? Do you know who my boyfriend is? That's another everyday annoyance, the entitlement of people. Like, girl, you're not even married.
Yeah. It's interesting how people will use that, although sometimes to your benefit. So, her sister got pulled over driving her to the beach a couple weeks ago, and she was going about 20 over. It was a construction zone.
Okay, and mind you, I literally said, Emma, slow down. I literally see a cop.
And she didn't slow down.
Nope.
So she got pulled over, and the cop kind of looked at her record and said, "Okay, your record's not too bad. I'm letting you."
Yeah, like he literally said, "Not too bad." So he didn't say your record's great. It's perfect. Not too bad.
Well, I mean, she had that accident from 6 years
I know,
ago.
but like
you still see it on there.
Yeah,
so.
yeah.
And so he let her go, and then come to find out later, his wife is a patient of my husband's, and obviously we have a unique last name, Knego.
Yeah.
Nobody else in town named Knego. No. And so he's made the assumption that she was Rob's daughter, and therefore
okay. I just feel like it's important to note that if Emma did get a ticket in this situation, there would have been like no issues. Like dad wouldn't have given her lesser care or anything like that.
No, I mean we wouldn't have even
we wouldn't have even known, not at all.
We only knew that it happened because the police officer's wife then saw my husband for another appointment and told him that it happened. Otherwise, we would have never known.
I have a good story about entitlement like that. A girl from my high school, her dad was a cop, and I don't know if it's a thing everywhere, but at least in Manatee County, people
which is just north of us.
Yeah, people with what is the word? Family members of cops. They can get like this golden card essentially. So if you get pulled over, you can hand them the card and you'll get off with it.
Is that true?
I have no clue. Well, like, who knows? But I think it's like a pretty common thing. Like, okay, well, you're so-and-so's kid. I'm not going to give you a ticket. So this girl, she's hella speeding, like very much speeding. And she gets pulled over and she thinks she's going to get away with it without even saying hello, hi, how are you? Even showing you her ID. She just gives him the card. He was like, no, I'm not today. Writes her up a ticket.
Wow.
Entitlement.
Yeah.
Be kind if you want something, bro.
Be kind even if you don't.
Yeah.
But
like, if you can't be kind for just being kind, someone in I went to like the Belmont Law thing. One of the administrators was like something along the lines of like, if you can't be kind for just being kind, be kind for like your business relationships, because a big part of like law is referrals. So you don't want to be known as the guy that like, oh, he was such an asshole during law school. I don't want him.
Everything comes around.
100%. And if I have learned anything on my short 21 years on Earth, everything comes around.
Yeah, you don't want to burn any bridges.
Nope.
You always want to be the best person you can be.
Yeah.
And people remember that kind of stuff. They remember the good and the bad. And when it comes back around, they're like, oh, you treated me like crap. I'm definitely not going to help you.
Yeah.
Not helping you. Sorry, Charlie.
So I think entitlement in general, I think that's just so annoying.
Yeah. Again, another thing that I don't understand, and the way people treat other people when it comes to customer service, that's part of the entitlement thing.
I just think I think it's such bad secondhand embarrassment for that person. For the person that's like going all Karen.
Yeah, it's funny that is like a verb.
Yeah. But you know what? It wouldn't be if people didn't fit the description. So.
Yeah, I don't understand why people just can't be respectful. Actually, I truly believe that if you respect yourself, then you don't behave like that.
Yeah, because you realize you don't want to be treated that way.
And that's why it's so important because I talk about self-respect, that it's so important to realize that the way you respect yourself kind of flows out to everything you do in the world, right? If you don't have respect for yourself, then you don't really care what anybody else, how you're impacting anybody else.
Yeah. Right? It's so many little details adds up. Like, so I don't know. It's just so important. Like, you don't realize how your struggles, and I don't mean this in a bad way, like affect other people. Like, I'm not saying that, oh, like that's selfish or anything, but especially when you're like, you have that kind of entitled, like negative attitude, it really does affect everybody.
Yeah, I agree. I want to say the last thing I want to talk about, because this just happened because I just flying home, and actually they made an announcement on the plane, which is probably the second time I've heard them announce this. If you are using your phone or your computer or your iPad to watch a movie, you need to put headphones in. Nobody else wants to hear what you're doing. Nobody else wants to hear. And when we land, nobody wants to hear your conversation. That's the worst. I was in a lounge, one of the airport lounges, and this woman, she was clueless. She had no idea. Like, she was on FaceTime with her husband. It was full volume, and you heard about everything in terms of her, whatever was happening in her life. The whole place heard it. And I don't know, what do you say? Do you go up to her and say, excuse me, could you please put in some headphones, or do you just move? I mean, I just moved. I was like, there's no.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I'm not really comfortable confronting strangers.
Yeah. I mean, you never know how it's going to go, right?
That, I think, is like the biggest thing. It's not something I really love doing.
Yeah, I hear you.
But headphones in public spaces, I think that's such a huge issue in New York. Like, what is with people just bringing huge boom boxes onto the subway? The subway is already something no one wants to be on. And you're just making the experience that much more miserable for everybody else.
Yeah. And that's just what people, they don't even, well, some people are thinking about it.
Do it on purpose.
On purpose. Other people are just that clueless. That they don't know that what they're doing is impacting the people around them. And I wonder sometimes if it was brought to their attention, would they be like, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. I mean, I know, like, I would be like, if I was doing something that was really bothering someone, I'd be like, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry.
Yeah, of course. Because I would never want to intentionally bother someone.
Yeah. But I don't know. But you're right. I don't like confronting people that I don't know. I don't like confronting people.
I don't like confronting people. It's like probably one of my biggest weaknesses.
Yeah, but confronting people that you don't know, I mean, you never know how that's going to go, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I completely agree. Especially in this day and age, it's not necessarily worth it, especially if you can just get up and walk away.
So I love the fact that you bring your calendar now when you travel. This is so funny.
Well, I was,
we obviously, she knew we were recording, but she brings her calendar. She's not bringing a lot of stuff home, but she brings a calendar home.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. It's nice to have.
So tell us.
Well, I think it's important to note that the day we're recording this is Earth Day.
Oh, right. This is Earth Day. Okay. So that's going to be.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know why. I just forgot that it was Earth Day, I guess. Okay. You are relentless. Rather than worrying about whether you should keep going or turn back, press in relentlessly. Relentlessness has one direction, and that's forward. It only has one option, and that's to keep the momentum going.
Yeah. I mean, not related to what we talked about at all today, which is unusual. But then again, I think
this was kind of just like
this was like a complaining podcast.
Yeah. Sometimes you just have to have them.
Yeah. Usually we're inspirational and motivational. Today we're like,
it was a bit of both.
Yeah.
A good mix in there.
But it is about moving forward. When we have a tough week, the past is the past. You learn from it and you move forward.
Yeah.
So you're right. Be relentless.
Be relentless. And honestly, I, once again, 21, I can only speak to my own personal experiences, but the things that I really thought were going to ruin my life, don't even think about them now. Just in high school, like a bad math grade, or even like the pain going through like Crohn's diagnosis. Like, I was relentless during that. And when I think back onto it now, like, it was a tough time in my life, but I don't remember like the pain I went through. I remember what I am today.
That's why there's that saying, what doesn't kill you makes you stronger.
Which, as a kid, I was like, okay, whatever. But
stop saying it, Mom.
It does make sense.
So that's the end for today.
Oh, I mean, I can fake give advice. Like, it's okay to complain. Like,
oh yeah, your issues are your issues. There's no shame.
Yeah, it's okay to have unique issues too that are like very personal to you. You don't have to be like this positive persona all the time. Yes, you should be nice to customer service people, but like, I feel like that's like you don't have to be positive in every single aspect of your life. Like, some days are going to suck. Yeah. And that's okay. But you just have to get up, complain a little bit about it. What was that? We also always say, okay, you can like 2 hours to cry about it, and then we have to find the solution.
Yeah. Yeah. When something bad happens, like, you have to acknowledge it.
Yeah.
If you don't acknowledge it, there's no way to move forward. So you acknowledge what happened, and then you pick yourself up and you take one step forward.
Yeah.
And then 2 steps forward, and then 3 steps forward. And in the moment, it seems like the most impossible thing.
Mm-hmm.
But as you keep doing it, it gets easier and easier.
Yeah.
And then when you get through something really tough and then something else happens, then you're like, okay, I've made it through this. I can get through the next thing as well.
Yeah.
Got to keep reminding ourselves of that. So, like our podcast, leave a review. We would love to hear from you. If you're looking for a keynote speaker, please reach out. SimoneKnego.com. And there's going to be all of our information in the show notes and also a free download for my mirror moments for positive affirmations. Email us. Check in on Facebook. Check in on Instagram. Again, we would love to hear from you.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. Thanks for joining on. Oh my gosh, I can't even speak. Thanks for joining on us. You go.
Thanks for joining us on this episode of the Daughter Dearest Podcast.
Oh, whoops. I hope you guys have a great week.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
Thank you for listening to the Daughter Dearest Podcast with Simone and Olivia Knego. We hope this episode has made your day just a little bit brighter and given you the inspiration you need to confidently go about your week. Always remember to be authentically you. Don't forget to like and subscribe so you never miss an episode. And feel free to connect with them on Instagram at Daughter Dearest Podcast, at Simone Knego, and at Olivia Knego. Till next time.